It was the final year of school where they invited a guest, a Sheikh Ahmed. So we say Sheikh Ahmed, so it means like a leader, a teacher. Okay. And so he was the imam, a Muslim imam, and he spoke. This is a public school, not a Muslim school, but we had time of class. We were able to sit down and listen to this religious figure, dressed in a white gown, had a hat on his head and a long beard. And I was amazed looking around the auditorium and saying, oh man, all these troublemakers, all these criminals are sitting respecting this religious man.
Why do you think that was?
They took their faith seriously.
Okay.
What would I say? They were absolute fans of their faith. They took their identity as Muslim seriously. When a religious man, they will sit up and take note and respect him. Now, we never respected any teacher, let alone a religious figure. So I was sort of impacted by that. I said, wow, what does this guy have that the teachers don't have? And that planted a little seed in my mind. And then I was invited to the mosque, and that's where it went to the next level. And that guy, Sheikh Ahmed, he started questioning me. We sat down. It was interesting. It was a room in the Grand Mosque of Australia in Lakemba. Some joke it's Lebkemba, but Lakemba. And there was a room up in the back. I was invited to go in, and I saw these men sitting on the floor and with butcher's paper rolled out on the floor, and they're all sharing each other's plates and they're eating. And this was during Lent of my final school year. And funny enough, I don't know why, I asked my mum that year, Muslims have Ramadan, what do Christians have? And she said Lent. And what do Christians do? You give up meat on Friday. Okay. And that year, funny enough, I gave up meat on Friday. This was a Friday. For no other reason than that's what Christians do. I was inspired by the Muslims doing it. I did it. And so I was invited to have some salad. I did. And then some meat, and I didn't. I said, oh, no, I'm fasting. But you just ate salad. Oh, no, I'm fasting from meat. But that's not fasting. I said, what do you mean?
Pansy.
Well, you're eating. Yeah, that's right. Well, in Islam, we fast from sunrise to sunset. That's
so
water.
Cool.
And I said, you're eating. Clearly, you're eating. He said, that's not fasting. And then right away, he compared the two. He said, which is better, the Muslim fast or the Christian fast?
Yeah.
Fair
Muslim
enough.
fast.
Absolutely, that's harder.
Just,
and then back of my mind, 1-0 to you.
You look at Islam just superficially, prima facie, it just looks like a far more masculine religion.
Yeah,
it looks like
here are men, absolutely.
Here are men and women who take their faith seriously. And of course, I guess it depends on what Muslims you're looking at. But I remember my wife and I were in New York City making our way back to the airport, and we saw some of the airport workers all doing their prayers together. You're like, there's just something masculine about that. It's very attractive.
That's right. They're courageous. They're not afraid to practice their faith in public. Sometimes on the side of the highway, you'll see the rug go out and they're facing Mecca and they're praying and they're witnessing to their faith. And that's what inspired me.
Meanwhile, we can't find time to do our prayers, or we give up meat sometimes on Fridays, and if we can, and we have this sort of like
side of the cross. Don't let anyone see.
And we have this big dispensation culture, right, in the church. Where it's like, well, it's okay. Like, well, I mean, technically, it's all these technically, so we do the bare minimum. Unlike people like Derek, he's Orthodox here in the studio today. What's up, Derek? Hey. Derek's Orthodox, so Derek's hardcore.
But you know how to do the Trinity, right?
That's right.
I love the Orthodox side of the cross.
They're cool. I love them. But I mean, they fast like men, and we have so much to learn from them. Sorry, but continue.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So that's cool. Okay, so you were kind of inspired by these friends of yours to be like, all right, Mum, what do we do? We fast. And then this fella's like, that's not fasting.
That's right. So that was the first challenge. Right away, I was challenged. Christianity is a weaker faith right away. Yeah. We finished lunch. We sat down in the corner of this room. And then he said, okay, now my nickname, Charbel is my name, but I grew up as Charlie. And it's a common thing, a lot of Charbels, because it's an Arabic or Syriac name specifically, and you say it like this, Charbel, very hard, it's a tongue twister. Mm-hmm. And so in kindergarten, the teacher, my parents said, oh, Charbel is his name. And I went, sorry, what's that? Can I just call him Charlie? And so then Charlie was my name. To the point where my first tax file number and my job, I was Charlie, and my license had my birth certificate name, Charbel, but all my taxes and stuff and all those forms were Charlie. Okay. So I actually literally would tell people, my name is Charlie, and that's what they knew me as. So anyway, this Muslim imam said, Charlie, how do you Christians pray? That's how he said it. And I started reciting the Our Father. But halfway through, he stopped and he said, so you're calling God Father? I said, yes. Don't you have an earthly father? I said, yes. So he said, why are you calling God Father then? Because he's our Father. Well, you can't have it both ways. What do you mean? Well, you're putting on God human attributes. That's an insult to God. You shouldn't do that. Fair enough. 2-0 to Islam. So in the back of my mind, Christianity 0, Islam 2. I love my sport scoreboards. Then he said, who taught you that prayer? Here we go again. Oh, it's Jesus. And who is Jesus? Oh, he's the Son of God. Oh, so God has a son now. How can God have a son? I don't know. It's got a son.
By being a father, like I told you.
Yeah. I wish I had that answer. I didn't even have that. And he says, no, God can't have a son. Okay. 3-0, you know? And then he said, but hold on. Isn't Jesus supposed to be God in Christianity? He said, yes. So God is talking to himself. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? 4-0 to Islam. And then he said, but don't you Christians believe in a Holy Spirit? Yeah. And don't you believe that's God as well? I said, yeah. So you believe in 3 gods? No, it's 1 God. No, it's 3. No, it's 1. 3. Explain it. And all I could do was the sign of the cross. And I couldn't go any deeper than that. That's all I could go. It's terrible. 5-0. And then he says, look, he went on and on. There's so many different arguments, like the crucifixion, you believe that Jesus died on the cross. He didn't die on the cross because if he did die, and if you believe it's God, well, then that would be the end. In Islam, he's a prophet, but we don't say he died. He was replaced, substitution. So Judas Iscariot replaces Jesus on the cross. I said, interesting. Out of all characters, Judas, but so Jesus was on the cross, but he didn't die on the cross. And I didn't. The penny didn't drop till later on, but I said, okay, 6-0. Like they got to about 10 points to 0, and I was like, I was in this corner thinking, I've got nothing. And he even noticed like, are you going to ask me anything? And I had nothing. And he said, I want to invite you to close your eyes and say in Arabic, there is only one God and his prophet Muhammad, in Arabic. And I did it 3 times in front of witnesses. And I opened my eyes and he said, welcome, brother. I said, you're a Muslim. All right. I just said the Shahada prayer. And he gave me a towel, a white gown, and I went to have a shower.
Wow.
And
that's way easier than RCIA.
Yeah, that's right. Just boom. You just witness. That's like the baptism, basically, initiation. I went and had the shower, but really weird. I was nervous. Have I just become a Muslim? Okay. I'm not a religious person, but now here I am. I'm going to leave Christianity. What's Mum going to say?
I mean, surely she knew about your Muslim friends.
And because I used to ask questions, and she'll give me some answers, but I never remembered them, and it didn't make 100% sense to me.
So was she concerned that you were gravitating towards Islam, or was she grateful that you may have been going on a better track from someone who was not really following your Christian faith?
I wonder if she did. She may have been concerned. Yeah, she did warn me a few times. Be careful, don't go too far. But she did notice I was asking questions, but I wasn't 100% convinced at the time. But then the final year I did fast from meat in Lent. But none of us brothers, I'm one of 6 boys, and we all had the same upbringing, but none of us were going to church at the time. None of us. We just completely drifted. But I have to say, in that shower, I was moved to pray. And I didn't know how to pray except for the Our Father and the Hail Mary. And so I said it in the shower while I'm washing myself. And I'm still going. One Hail Mary. I did another Hail Mary. I did 10 Hail Marys. I did a decade of the Rosary without realizing, just coincidence. And I finished the shower. I put this white gown on, and as I'm finishing the 10th Hail Mary, I just about to say Amen, and I hear a little whisper, not through my ears, just an inner voice. Not yet. Not yet. Who was that? I took it off, put my normal clothes back on. Was that Our Lady? I don't know. I was addressing Our Lady at the time. Possibly. But I came out to the main area, and the Muslim man said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Look, I don't know my faith. It's not fair that I leave something I don't know. Let me investigate, and I'll get back to you. I just want the truth." And he says, "Fair enough." I said, "Pray for me. I just want the truth." He goes, "All right." But I was moved to ask one question. Finally, here comes the question. He says, "Okay, anything." I said, "In Islam, a man can marry 4 wives. How is that right in God's eyes? How can you do that?" And he says, good question. First of all, not every man can marry 4 wives. Well, then who can?
Me.
Well, the Prophet Muhammad could do 11, have 11 wives. But he said, only those who can treat them equally. I said, what do you mean? Well, this was the example he gave me. If you buy one a house, you buy all four a house. If you buy one a car, you buy all four a car.
Whew.
Okay, that's it. And he said, yes. There's got to be more to it. And then I said, you can't love them equally. You're going to have a favorite. You can't. And he says, well, does your mother love all her children equally? Now, I'm only 18 at the time. I didn't have any theology behind me, no theology body stuff, none of that. But I knew that was different. The love between a husband and a wife is different to the love between parents and children. I said, that's a different love. And then he said, love is love. You know, it wasn't significant, that slogan at the time, but it's become very popular today for many reasons. So in this case, love is love was used to justify polygamy. And I wasn't satisfied with that answer. And I said, 1-0 to Christians, or I took one off the Muslims. So I wasn't satisfied. I thought, no, there's more to it than that. That's not good enough.
Was this conversation immediately as you were leaving and saying, pray for me?
That's right. All there. And then I thanked him for his time, and I went and my friend.
Can I just say that takes a tremendous amount of courage to do that? Because I think I think one of the reasons people join religions or other ideologies is because of community. Like, we want to be a part of something bigger than us. We want people to call us brother, like he did to you.
Yes.
And so for him to welcome you like that, presumably there was other people around.
There were, yeah.
And then you've gone, you've had this shower. You could have walked out and been embraced, and you chose not to. That took courage.
I have to point it to maybe that prayer, that little whisper in my ear, just not yet. So just like, give Christianity a chance. Don't give up yet. Just study it first. But I wasn't convinced about Christianity. I was convinced about Islam. It made sense to me. And I left that thinking, I'm a Muslim. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not practicing. I can't call myself a Catholic. And I got home. It was late from school, and my mother said, where were you? I said casually, just at the local mosque. And you can imagine, what? She gave this huge slap across the face.
Oh, that's nice.
Love it. Right here. And she says, you go now to Jesus and you ask him if he wants you to be a Muslim or Christian. He's in the Quran. I said, yes. So, well, if he's a prophet, well, he's going to tell you the answer, right? Yep. Go. And I
love
went
your
down.
mum already.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Two things I know about her. She slapped you. And that's it.
Yeah. she I dedicated the book to her, because if it wasn't for that slap, life would have been different. Her name is Yvette, so I love you, Mum.
Yvette. To my mother, Yvette.
That's right.
Raish. Is that how I say your last name?
That's right.
Thanks for laying the foundations of faith in my life and giving me that slap in the face. Yeah. I needed it.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought about the video.